An opportunity for me to come back to India. One of the things I'm exploring is how I get citizenship. I'm coming so often.
Therefore, I think we can get an FTA with New Zealand soon.
You should think about it in this context. I can't think of another trade negotiation that New Zealand's been involved in, but between a launch, which is March of this year, and now, which is only 7 months, there have been 5 rounds.
But I think it was a very useful trip to come to New Zealand, spend time with my very good friend and Trade Minister of New Zealand, His Excellency Mr. Todd McClay, and the spirit in which we started this free trade agreement negotiations from day one till an hour back has consistently remained one of respect for each other's sensitivities, one of accommodating each other to the maximum extent possible, and looking at the FTA not as an end game but as the starting point of a beautiful long relationship which will span several areas of relations between the two countries. Therefore, I'm really delighted to report that our teams have done a wonderful job. The few nuances that needed to be addressed are before us. A lot of the things in a spirit of accommodation have been closed. We are continuing discussions after this engagement and tomorrow, and hope to get a lot of work done. Therefore, I think we can get an FTA with New Zealand soon.
Is there a timeline since yesterday and today, between today and yesterday?
As you know, it's not done till it's done 100%. And you also know that timelines don't work on such important negotiations, which will determine the destiny of two nations. And we look at each other as very valuable trading partners. We look at each other as strategic and global players, and we also recognize that with a large Indian community living and working here, 300,000 people, with the amount of potential that India and New Zealand have to expand trade, we've been looking at the complementarities. There are huge complementarities. I think this is an important agreement. We'd like it to be a sustaining agreement over the next several decades, and therefore would like to do it very carefully and balancing the interests of both New Zealand and India.
Well, once the FTA is landed, it will be significant. We've seen over the last year, two-way trade has increased by 10%. Which is a very large increase when we think about, the size of the two economies. And so we're working hard to strike a deal that will give real opportunity to all Indian businesses in New Zealand and New Zealand businesses who are interested in working together in India. But it's much more than just what we might buy and sell from each other. It's how we can cooperate in areas of science and innovation, how we can take some of the things we've done in New Zealand about producing some of the highest quality food, growing it in New Zealand, and bring that to help Indian farmers be much more productive to feed people in India and export to the world. So those are the areas our negotiators are still looking at. But I would tell you that when we land this agreement, if we come back to this hall in 10 years' time, whatever we say today, the achievement of the New Zealand Indian business communities will be astronomically greater than that. Well, we've agreed not to talk about the detail of the negotiation whilst our negotiators are still working, but across the broad spectrum of things that we've identified are important to India and New Zealand, we're making very good progress. You should think about it in this context. I can't think of another trade negotiation that New Zealand's been involved in, but between a launch, which is March of this year, and now, which is only 7 months, there have been 5 rounds. There's been detailed work at a time when both New Zealand and India are negotiating furiously with many other countries of the world. So it's the constructive spirit that Minister Goyal and I have agreed that we will look for solutions to the challenging issues rather than just saying we keep arguing about them, that's allowed us to make progress. I'm looking forward to being in India next week for my 6th visit since I became minister. Less than 2 years ago, and we'll be looking at ways that we can continue the cooperation. The agreement will be done when it's done, but it feels like with the commitment we've both made, it will be, as our 2 Prime Ministers told us, as quickly as we can.
So will we see...
15 minutes yesterday add to the momentum?
Tell me what?
The 15 minutes outside, the conversation that the 3 of you had, including Prime Minister.
We were talking about whose cricket team was better.
Mr. Minister, how is it going to help the general people of both the countries?
Well, trade, where you have rules in place that people can understand and rely upon, it is easier for them to make the commitment to work more closely together. We're very interested in the things that we can buy from India. I think you've heard me mention that we did a trade agreement with China 20 years ago. Today, we import almost $20 billion worth of goods from China. And we have an and strategy. We want to trade with America and the European Union and Australia and India, and that trade agreement will make it easier for Indian companies to look to partner with New Zealand companies to sell the very high quality goods and services you produce here, and for New Zealand companies to do the same thing. So it's going to be a win-win, and we've said it must be complementary and both sides must win. We need to have good rules in place the business community can understand. We need people in both directions to believe they can move more freely, and we need investment in both directions to come back and forth. There was a New Zealand company today that's owned by an Indian New Zealander. He makes mattresses and beds. He has asked us to come and do a sod turning. He's building a factory in India, investment from New Zealand there to make these beds, some of the highest quality ones. He was saying actually with AI you can lie on this mattress and within minutes will adjust so you have the best sleep ever. Trade ministers are not allowed that. We're not allowed to sleep. We have to keep working, but there will be opportunities in both directions, and I think that we will come back in some years' time and say the prediction of $20 million worth of two-way trade actually has been surpassed.